things are not the way they're supposed to be. Death, sickness, global pandemics, violence, oppression, none of those things are natural. To see our world as it is to grieve. So the question before us is, how do we grieve well? What does it mean for us to realize that God does not ask us to suppress our suffering or pretend like it's not there or to explain it away? But in fact, He invites us to face it, to name it, to grieve it, and to find the inexhaustible grace of Jesus Christ in the midst of it. The scriptures are full of this invitation, especially in places like the book of Psalms or the book of Lamentations. But I think we see it most clearly in the life of Jesus Christ when God comes to carry our grief. In Jesus, God becomes man. He becomes one of us. And as one of us, He suffers. He grieves. He grieves when He sees the state of this world He's created. He grieves at the death of a friend. And in the tragedy of the cross, He takes on the worst our world has to offer. And He experiences the wrath of God against our sin, which leads Him to cry out, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" No wonder the book of Isaiah calls Him a man of sorrows who is well acquainted with grief. And the good news here is that God is not distant from our grief. He's experienced it. And in the face of our trouble, in the face of our questions, He doesn't just give us an intellectual answer to the problem of evil or why there are bad things that happen in the world, but He gives us Himself. God is with us. He is with us even in, or especially in, our grief. But there's more good news. Because of Jesus, grief is not forever. His resurrection from the dead is a victorious declaration that sorrow is not the final word. He has defeated the power of death. And He tells us where this is all going. In Revelation 21, the new heavens and new earth, where all things are made new, where it says that He will wipe every tear from our eyes, and there will be no more death, and there will be no more mourning, and there will be no more crying or pain, because the old order of things has passed away. Your grief is real. Your tears, your suffering, your sadness, your anger. And I invite you, because Jesus invites you, to bring those to Him. Come to Jesus. Come with your frustration and your confusion and your anger and your questions. Allow your broken heart to become a heart that's open to His grace. Place your faith in Him and Him alone, and find in Jesus a hope that transcends even the deepest of our sorrow and grief.